Hanalei's 6th chukker, and we're at the beginning of the game. You can see she's standing quietly, wearing a snaffle. Doesn't mind me throwing my hands around and cracking jokes or something. She didn't mind the joke. Alright, so first shot, she looks a little bit off to the trailer, which is to the right of the camera at the moment. Alright, trying to keep her straight and not switching leads, which she has a tendency to do. But here she's going nice and straight, and she changes nicely there to the right hand lead as we go around to the right. Back on the right lead, and she's really going quite nicely. The reins are not tight. She's a little bit tense when she gets around the other horses. You can see near side shot, wave the mallet, let her get used to it. She's cantering quietly on the right lead. Good. She let me shoot, changed leads, and we turn left. Now these lead changes are very much natural lead changes. The horse is balanced well enough that it knows that when it's circling to the left or right, it needs to be on that lead. I have not taught her to do a sort of classic flying lead change. That will come later. And we're stopping with the trailer in front of us, and she appears to be fairly willing to stop. The game went on, so that was more of a sort of check down. She's not minding the other horses. That turn there, a little bit of a resistance, looking there at the other horse, but I just ride her across the back of him without endangering myself. But you can see by going across the back like that, the horse realizes that a door will open up as that horse crosses in front of her, and she just pauses and then go through it, as opposed to stopping hard and me going over the front end. Because that horse did quite kind of cross in front. We're not counting fouls here. Anyway, another knock in. Notice I swing the mallet, sort of pre-swing, but more just to get the horse prepared. Hey, look, I'm going to swing this mallet and we're going to hit the ball, so don't take fright. Do a lot of trotting as opposed to cantering. I find if I'm trotting on the field, I can balance the horse by changing diagonals, as opposed to having to change leads all the time. And a horse that hasn't really learnt flying lead changes, which this one hasn't, is not going to readily change all 4 of its leads. So if you she tripped a bit there. So if you're trying for those changes, you're going to frustrate the horse on the polo field. If you frustrate the horse on the polo field, it ain't going to like playing polo. So you've got to give them confidence and just go at it fairly easily. See, now I wound up big time for that swing, and she did not like it. She jumped a little bit, and that's probably why that ball didn't get struck quite as well as it should have done. She doesn't mind horses coming from behind. She doesn't mind meeting too much. She didn't go close to that horse there. She's still fearful of being kicked. She hasn't got that confident yet. And what the horse is learning is it's learning that the player is not going to put it in a position where it might get hurt. You know, within reason, the ball does hit them sometimes. They're very forgiving animals, and so for some reason, despite being hit by the ball, they'll still play polo. I know that ball hurts. So they must enjoy it or something. Certainly they like being with the other horses once they realise that it's not going to turn into some sort of scrap between horses. Little ride-off, and you can see her head goes up in the ride-off, and that is a sign that you know, well, she's not happy being in the ride-off, but that horse, you could see, was throwing, the horse that was coming into her was also throwing its head. So, you know, some of it's just self-preservation. How they preserve themselves is the question. If they, you know, if they really pull or bail out of there, then obviously you're going to have a much harder time getting them confident. Okay, that's a fairly nice little stop, turning her away from home. It's quite a good idea to stop and stand still on the polo field from time to time. I think this might be an opportunity where I could have done so. You'll see as soon as we start trotting, her head comes up. So that lets me know, you know, this horse really does need to get confident. And that's fair. After 6 chukkers, you know, you wouldn't really expect much more. You can see her canter off down the field nicely. Nice and quiet. A fairly straight stop, little rein back and turn. Now I shouldn't have let her hindquarters go to the left of picture there, on the rein back nor on the turn. The polo field not really the place to work on that. Work on that at home and bring everything together. As the bull rolls right under her, it doesn't seem to bother her at all, and we're off into a canter. Riding up the middle, the trailer is over where the camera is, so to get to the trailer she has to ride off. Just a little tactic there to force the horse into being brave. And she takes a ride off here, not bad. Balks a little bit at it, but still right there, so it didn't scare her. And that's good, we just let her go along. And there, as I rode past, if I brushed past that player, I allowed the horse to win a little ride off in its own mind. That stop wasn't good, but she probably wanted to get home, and so I had to stop her hard. Well, thanks guys, that's great. Thanks for watching.